Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the lab. I'm, of course, your host, John Burkhead, and welcoming back to SOY Cast, the podcast, the men in black, the one and only, even though there's four of us, but the four and only. I don't know if that works. Hey, guys, how y'all doing? What's up, Albert? What's up, Ace? How you, Dre?
Chilling, chilling.
Doing good, man.
What is up?
I
I
definitely
like
know.
how I was going to say, Ace's mic's kind of, I mean, it's a nice mic, but it like covers most of his face. So you
Yeah.
can't tell if he's smiling or chewing on something.
So I can eat on camera without y'all knowing.
Yeah, man. Like, what's up? You got a glizzy back there, or what's the deal?
Don't give it away, Dre.
The young Lizzie Goblin.
The young glizzy gladiator.
Low key, it also makes Ace look slimmer. I don't know if that's like, like a
Nah, I
cosmetic
think he's
thing.
losing some weight or something, man. It looks like
Probably.
It's a camera trick.
I think
You
he's
know,
putting in that work.
you got to hold your side and turn, right?
Well, that's the whole trick on wearing black as well too. So you can look slimmer on camera. But I'm just trying to look good for Dre's wedding. So that's the only reason why I'm trying to lose weight. After that, after Dre's wedding, I'm gonna lose it all again. I'm gonna gain it all again.
You're gonna lose all the weight that you lost.
Basically.
Nice. I like that. You know what isn't up is the Miami Heat because they're about to drop to 0-3 against the Bucks. So I don't know about y'all, but I had the Bucks coming out of the East for the playoffs this year. If they avoided Miami, I did not think that they could match up well with them, but they're proving me wrong, and they're proving that they're the right pick for me at least to come out of the East. How y'all feeling about the playoffs so far?
Do you think they're gonna get swept?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You think Miami's gonna get swept?
yeah, I didn't think it was gonna. I honestly thought Miami was gonna win in six before game one started. And even game one, the whole time I'm like, wow, Miami is like looking how I thought they would. But since like, the tail end of game one with overtime, game two and game three, they're just Milwaukee figured it out, I think. And honestly, I think that was their worst matchup is Miami. So it's gonna be interesting. It's still early. Brooklyn still looks like a fire
Brooklyn
team.
looks dominant. You wouldn't think that the Bucks would have a struggle there.
So the reason why I like yes and no, I think they're playing a really weak Boston team. They're playing a Boston team that has no like bigs at all. So of course they're gonna feast at the rim. And Jason Tatum went out game one, right? He got poked in the eye because getting poked in the eye is the theme of the playoffs this year. Everyone's getting smacked in the face, which is fine. So yeah, they just don't look. I mean, I don't think Boston is that strong of a team, and Brooklyn's gonna play Milwaukee round two if they both advance. And I'm still going with the Bucks to come out of the East, but to me, the winner of that series comes out of the East, right? Because
Right.
Okay, it's Brooklyn or Milwaukee basically at this point, right? Because Brooklyn has the most talent, but Milwaukee, to me, I think Drew Holiday has been a huge addition, not because of what he does for like as a team as a whole, but he also puts guys in the right position. So now Middleton's the natural third option, and that takes a lot of pressure off of him. So he can literally just like think attack, and then you still have your playmaker in Giannis, and then you have another playmaker in Drew. So that's just my thoughts on the East right now.
Who was in the finals again? Last in the bubble?
The
Miami
NBA
versus
finals or the
LA.
conference?
The finals.
The finals,
Miami.
Miami and the Lakers, what
Miami.
Ace said.
Would you say this is a weaker Miami team compared to the one that was in the bubble?
No,
Oh,
I would not. I would say they're basically the same. They still have the same like components. Yeah, they're short when you take Bam out of the game, but I mean they only played like 8 dudes last season anyway. And they really like they traded Olynyk basically for Oladipo, right? But Oladipo has been hurt. He would have helped for sure because when Miami struggles, they struggle offensively. They got the D. They're definitely a booty call because they got that good D. No, too soon. All right.
wow.
No, I thought that was good.
Yikes.
If you think that's good D, then that's on you.
Well, they're getting smacked now. Oh, geez. The double
Smack
entendres
with the D?
continue.
Yeah.
So who does New York or Atlanta play when they advance?
Philly, the winner between Philly and Washington.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I would think whoever wins out of Brooklyn, Milwaukee is going to take the East. Um, I would think that the West would be a little bit easier for the Lakers, but it looks like they're kind of struggling with um
Yeah, most definitely with the Suns.
with the Suns.
But they did this last season. Last season they lost game 1 in every series and then swept the team.
Yeah, but they came out looking strong.
True.
The following games. This one they look like they're still struggling, and give it that they're they haven't played as a team completely, for half the season, but they just don't look like the same Lakers that were hungry in the bubble. They look like they've had a snack and they can wait for the next time they eat. But
Yeah.
Portland looks pretty good. I like also Denver. I mean, the West just looks good as well. Only team that doesn't look good is the Clippers.
When do the Clippers ever look good?
Exactly.
Oh no.
Sorry, Bruce.
It was like a year when when
When Chris Paul was on there.
Yeah, when it was Lob City and all that. That was probably it.
And they ran into the Warriors.
But yeah, man. Well, first off, so back to the East. Jimmy Butler. I mean, Jimmy Butler's known for talking a lot of smack on the court, right? Wasn't he yelling at somebody, calling him soft and saying all this, getting aggressive? So, I mean, I like him as a player, but I also like it when like trash talkers get their due. So I wonder if he's going to be talking all this shit if they get swept. It's gonna, and then having lost the championship last year, if they get swept out of the playoffs in the first round. Does that humble a person? And then he'd be like, okay, maybe I don't talk shit until I win something. Or do you think he'll still be popping off at the mouth?
Pat Beverly never stops talking, so he's
That's true.
But don't insult Jimmy Butler by bringing up Pat Beverly, right? Like Butler is
definitely
better. But yeah, you're right, Trey. Shit talkers definitely get their comeuppance, but I mean, one thing you can't ever question when Jimmy Butler, we've talked about before, is like the dude works his ass off, right?
True.
So, but you're right. If he loses, like that is, no matter what, that is going to be humbling because what can he say? Because then Milwaukee's being like, broomstick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, at least if he doesn't make up excuses, if he comes out and saying, hey, you know what, Milwaukee played a great game. They had a great, strategy against us. Tip my cap off to them. Good luck in the next round. Even if he was a smack talker, I respect that. If he comes out and goes, man, we weren't really, we weren't really prepared, and he makes all these excuses, and I'm like, all right, you're kind of weak, bro. But I think Jimmy's gonna do the right thing if they do get swept or not make it out of the first round. I think he'll own up to it and say, hey, we weren't, it wasn't for us this season, so we're gonna go back to the drawing board, get ready for next season.
I agree with Ace and Albert. I want to get your take. I heard Paul George is blaming Doc Rivers for them being down 0-2.
Doc Rivers.
Because the joke last year, because exactly what Ace said, right? Paul George last season didn't own up when they lost their 3-1 lead. He said, man, I blame the coaching staff because they didn't put me in the right position to score and do my thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, was he the one, or I don't know if it was a different player that said that they played me at a certain style that he wasn't used to.
Paul.
Okay, so yeah. So it sounds like that problem is still continuing. Where like I guess he prefers the ball like out of his hand or in his hand, or like he prefers like the pick and roll and stuff like that, and they're just not like giving it to him like that. And I mean, I don't think that's the sole reason. It's deeper than that, but yeah, Clippers just look bad.
And I bounced from the East to the West again. Knox, how have you been feeling about what's going down in the East and the playoffs and everything you've been seeing? Because it's one thing's for damn sure, it's been exciting.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much of the East. I mean, yeah, the Nets. To me, the Nets look like they're going to be pretty unstoppable. Like, looks like with a few more games, they're going to have their 3 superstars playing like those superstars can. And so then I think like how can you beat that? You can make as good of a defensive play as you want, and then all of a sudden just Harden hits a 3 or Kyrie hits a 3, and then Durant's unstoppable when he's just like healthy. So that one looks pretty crazy. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Celtics don't look that great. I haven't been able to watch the other games too much, like the Hawks and kind of 76ers and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I guess like the main thing to take out of the East is fans are taking the biggest L's, right? Got a couple fans banned for life this week, or past like day.
That's
Fans
shaking
are
my
wilding
head.
out.
Yeah, that's shaking my head, man, to these
So that's
fans,
good to
man.
see. Yeah, that's good to see. Especially like the one guy spit on. I feel like, and hopefully Trey Young seeks like damages or takes like legal actions, because just spitting on someone is just disgusting. Like that's like the word. Like it's just like it's unhygienic. It's disrespectful. It's like classless. I think so. That one's really bad. The popcorn one. I mean, fans should never interact with the players that way. And given Russell's history, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I mean, he could have just kept going, like it was just popcorn. But the fact it's like it's a reoccurring thing that's happened to him so much. So I get where he might bubble over. So it's not like the same as like the Malice in the Palace when they threw water bottles and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just getting crazy. So it's good to see that the league and teams are doing something.
I got a quick question. With the COVID times, and imagine spitting on someone. Would that be considered like almost an assault? Like
Yeah, probably.
like
Yeah,
I'm
spitting
causing
in
you more
general
than a
is an
harm,
assault.
right? Like
Yeah,
it's gonna be like
that's exactly what I was gonna bring up to Dre. Like, what I mean, hypothetically speaking, what if he's asymptomatic? What if he has COVID? Or what if he has something and you're getting that germs on someone else, right? Like, who we don't know, but
you also spit on top of a 50 cents girl.
Oh yeah, no. What we do? No, he for sure has cooties. 100%. That guy.
He
I'm calling it right
100%
now.
has cooties. That is very
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. So
And
that's
then
kind of
also with
wild.
that Russell Westbrook thing, you wouldn't throw popcorn if you were, at a basketball court, on the side. I mean, as far as like on the
right,
park,
like a
you
pick,
wouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah, at a pickup game,
Sure.
don't be, oh, cool, he's not gonna come up here and do anything. Let me still do it. I mean, a lot of people wronged Ron Artest. Yeah, he was acting like a fool before the
Yeah,
malice.
yeah,
Sure, he
yeah.
was acting like a fool, but
Like a
don't
fool.
entice him, and they threw that in there, almost like egging him on. And as a man too, or as a person, if someone throws something at you, your natural reaction is like, okay, f basketball. I'm supposed to be a basketball star, and know my composure. But at that point, like if someone throws anything at you, just a human reaction would be like, all right, who's doing that? Who's gonna catch these hands, right?
Mhm.
So for him to throw popcorn and think, and I'm glad the audience pointed him out. Him did it. Him did
Yeah.
it. So I would have been that main person too. And if he would have tried to fight me, I'm like, yo, man, come on.
Yeah.
You're throwing popcorn at a dude, man. But
I mean,
that spitting one really had me shaking my head.
yeah, that was horrible. I mean, I do with the Russell thing. I was kind of chuckling, because I was watching, and then who's to say what kind of mindset people are in, and especially if you take abuse for a long time. So I was kind of like, I mean, yeah, it's never good. But I was like, I mean, he threw some popcorn, just walk out. You know what I mean? Like, make sure they point him out, get him, like in trouble. And
Correct.
but then he had I loved his call when they were doing like the little interview or thoughts afterwards of like, I mean, because these are all like huge dudes. Even the smallest guy who's like 6'1".
Like Derek Fisher.
Yeah, like Derek Fisher or like Russell, like out on the street, Russell's a big cat. So
Yeah.
he's like, these guys wouldn't throw popcorn on me just walking across the street.
Correct.
So it's kind of like that internet culture where people feel strong because they're like protected and stuff. So like it's almost like, all right, cool, like if he wants to do that, like let's meet outside and then
Yeah.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
that with some of these big ass athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the NBA what type of action they're gonna do, because if you spit on a player, especially like what we've been saying, like you don't know what they have and don't have, and then this is gonna affect not only the player, but what happens if that person has to isolate themselves in quarantine, and then this is gonna affect the the whole roster of that
Wow.
team.
I didn't even
If
think
they
about
have
that.
to postpone
team
the
revenue, all that.
and yeah, this is
Right.
just basically messing up their money. And if you
All right,
mess
what
up
if-
his money, like yo, they're gonna go for that person and maybe even go back to the bubble, or just have no audience. And that's what sucks, is because you're gonna have to not only punish that person, but you're gonna punish everyone else who wants to go to that game. And then But what I did find funny about the popcorn spilling is that I saw a meme on, on Twitter of it was basically a clip from the Boondocks, and it was the lawyer having dinner, and then like it was just a clip of Russell Westbrook getting popcorn thrown at him, and then it goes to the Boondocks clip and it says Ron Artest would have said, "I won't let that happen to me though," and just run away. Because what Dre said, like the Malice in the Palace, like
Yeah.
Ron Artest would have for sure thrown down.
But yeah, I mean, I don't now. Like, now thinking about it, like, yeah, Ron Artest shouldn't have gone under, but you're not supposed to like throw anything at a player, just even at a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you did it at work too, so you think throwing something at your workplace won't get you fired?
Instant.
You'll get fired at work too. So what happened? Man, he threw he threw food at me, and then we got into a fight. That's what happened.
Yeah. Hey, so okay, but like, be honest. So you're saying that you've never had a manager piss you off, and you didn't want to go over to him or her at their desk and dump some popcorn all over their head and stuff, just shake the bag all over their head,
and just start rubbing in the kernels and oil all in their scalp.
That sounds consensual.
That'd be
it's consensual. He asked for it.
So you got HR. You got HR asking you what type of butter was used and stuff. Hey,
was it Orville? Was it Orville? All right, you got the pass.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was slippery. That's all I know. But so yeah, those are my thoughts on the East. Just a quick thing on the West. Laker fans, so watch more of that. Loving what's going on with the Clippers. Any pain or torture that they go through is great for me. Pretty scared about the Lakers. I'm not feeling confident at all. Luckily, we got out of that game 2. Well, I mean, Chris Paul was hurt.
Yeah, we're going up against a hurt Chris Paul.
Wait, hold. But before we talk about Chris Paul being hurt, if you guys watch game 1, this is after he hit his shoulder right on his teammate. That box out. Remember the scuffle between Caruso and Payne?
Right.
He pulled LeBron's arm down over
Correct.
his shoulder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, as hurt as you are, can you, at the same time, I don't believe in karma. I don't believe, what goes around comes around, nothing like that. But like, that was a dirty ass intentional play that I felt didn't get looked at because LeBron, is right here. And Chris Paul said, come down over his shoulder. Though LeBron's a big dude, but like I thought that was hella sus on Chris Paul.
Yeah, so they were looking at the other conflict, like in that, like preview. They were looking at Caruso and the other cat. So I think they were just too distracted.
Yeah, they were focused on that altercation rather than the whole LeBron. But I'm still kind of scared because let's say we do even get out, out of the Phoenix round. We're going to face either Portland or Denver, which is, I think, whoever wins out of those two is who I feel would win, whether Denver, Portland, or the Lakers. I think that's the teams that's going to be coming out the West for me.
I agree. I think if the Lakers don't come out, if they lose, I think if the Lakers lose to Phoenix, then Phoenix will lose to Portland, and Portland will come out of the West. Mm-hmm. But Dre, going back to you being, a little anxious and a little worried for the Lakers. What if they win tonight, and what if they win the next game at home? How would you feel then?
I mean, I'd feel better. If they're more convincing wins, not like down to the last second, and it's all dependent upon like a couple threes from Davis and James. Because one of those threes rims out, or that long baseline fadeaway gets missed by LeBron, then I think we'd probably lose that game. So yeah, it's really close. I mean, obviously, the more that we can play healthier and get back into a rhythm, it's kind of probably a similar situation with the Nets. Although the Nets look better right now, is that it can only mean that the Lakers might get better and feel more as a team or unit. But as far as being the defending champs, I think they look pretty weak. Did want to ask you guys though, what was up with I thought the flagrant foul at the start of the game, if you guys saw it, like the little
Anthony
toe,
Davis,
yeah, like the toe grazed homeboy's ball sack. I was like, come on, that's not intentional. I was like, I don't know, like I know a lot of people have been talking about flagrant fouls this year.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like he purposely kicked the guy. You mean like you're doing a jump shot, like your legs like. I don't know. That one, like, I thought that was pretty silly. I was curious on your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, definitely unintentional. But I think the way the league is like ref these days, compared to like how like the '90s and the '80s where it's a little bit more rougher. So even just like a tap on a sack is 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 considered is a flagrant foul. So I'm surprised when I think they were reviewing in game one where I think they held LeBron down and they were discussing whether or not that should have been a flagrant. Um, I was surprised where they called it a common foul just because how the games are ref these days.
Right.
So
Would you say, Albert, that LeBron is, cursed in that position because he's so big that, it's like, oh, well, he's big anyways?
No, I don't think so. I think when they clearly reviewed it and stuff like that, it's just that's where the reviews come in. I think they can review it and decide on their own, and just the way the refs decide, they're gonna call it a flagrant 99% of the time.
I think we can thank Mr. Draymond Green for that whole getting kicked in the crotch flagrant foul because he did it like 14 times in a row.
That's true.
But I mean, it's a natural. I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's natural, but if you're doing a fadeaway and you're trying to get more like umph in your jump or like kickback, and your feet's gonna do that natural reaction too. I think Kobe would, whenever he'd do his little fadeaway, even Michael Jordan had a little, small little kick. If it didn't look like he was trying to like karate kick him, sure, like a karate kick would be a flagrant, but this one literally, it's a natural basketball action, and he grazed it. So that just means Mr. Jay Crowder to his knees is basically what he's saying.
If it wasn't nuts and was just like say on like the thigh, would it still be called a foul?
Oh, good call.
I doubt it.
Very, very true. Probably not. So maybe it's just us guys sticking together and realizing, hey man, you got to protect the balls, man. You got to protect that sack.
I remember Dre used to say, and I loved when he would say, "It's like, man, that was a real kick in the dick." Yeah. Literally, this was.
There's two things that you got to protect in NBA: protect the lead and protect your balls.
True. 100%. So we'll see. Hopefully, there's no questionable calls this upcoming game. But and then okay, what do you guys think of like Lillard had like a quarter where he looked godly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had like
made 8 threes.
And it looked like, okay, maybe he's gonna challenge Klay Thompson for that record. And then the second half, he like just kept passing. He wouldn't take the shots. Like is it rigged? What's the mentality there? Because he's definitely not a guy who like.
Well, they put Aaron Gordon on him, right? So he's like a bigger athletic. He's not like just a big that's just big. He's big, athletic, and fast. So I guess he can recover fast. And if he were to go under or over the screens, he can still like interrupt his shot. So I feel like that's why when we talk about regular season players and like playoff players, it's all about adjustments. And if it takes you a full game to make an adjustment, or if the team needs to make an adjustment for the next game, or just going into the half, like, okay, Damian Lillard made 8 threes on us. What are we going to do? They made an adjustment and put Aaron Gordon on him. Now it's interesting to see what they do now, how they're going to get. I'm pretty sure they're going to put Aaron Gordon on him now from here on out. What adjustments do they do to get Lillard free so he can do his thing? So I think they're not. I guess they knew they were going to come out of the half like, okay, well, they're going to try to stop Lillard. I don't think they knew he was going to get kind of like clamped down by Aaron Gordon like that. So I'm hoping they find a way to get him free because Lillard is such a beast, man. When he's out there doing his thing.
Yeah, when he's in rhythm, he's scary.
Albert, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely adjustment. They're probably going to do to like a double screen or someone like Powell or McCollum's going to have to step up.
So to me, Dre, I agree with you. It felt like Lillard got shut down, but he had a pretty decent second half. It just wasn't as amazing as the first. But really, to me, I think Lillard recognized like he can't win this game the way he was playing in the first half. Mm-hmm. And the only way for him to win was to get the team involved, which he did try to do because aside from him having that amazing second quarter, the team looked bad. Everyone looked out of sync. Everyone was struggling. And I think he was like, all right, the only way we're going to win this game is if I get the other guys going. And that's what's going to open him up too, right? Because CJ is dangerous. Powell is dangerous. Nurkic is, can go at Joker. So that's when I was watching. I was like, okay, he's trying to get other dudes involved. And then I think it was just too late by the time he was like, oh, I messed up. I should have just kept taking over and gone for like 60 points tonight.
Right.
At least that was my thoughts. I don't think the game tonight is on TNT or anything. I think you have to have like NBA TV. But I think is it tomorrow?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
okay.
just like, oh, that sucks. We can't watch.
Yeah, but I really think that like he's not gonna be like that again. Like, okay, cool. This is how they're gonna play me. Like Ace said, they're gonna make an adjustment. Now I'm gonna make an adjustment. I'm just gonna yes, Aaron Gordon's a very good athlete, good defender, all that stuff. So he's probably just gonna go to the rim now, as opposed to just, instead of getting threes, I'm gonna just go to the rim, create mismatches and double teams, and then I'll just find the open guy that way. But yeah, he definitely was more shooting last game as opposed to driving, which is one of his strongest suits. He's an excellent driver and finding dudes open when he drives. So
And the series is tied 1-1, right?
yeah, the series is tied 1-1. So and they're going back to Portland, and they'll have a crowd, and that Portland crowd is,
I mean,
think
to
it's
go
gonna
on top
help.
of that, or where you're making adjustments, I think one thing to think about too is like, well, yeah, if I take it to the hole, I'm more likely to get Aaron Gordon hopefully fouling me, and if he can get him in foul trouble, I can get him out of the way quicker, so I can get started quicker. But yeah, it's all about it. Playoffs to me is all about adjustments, and um, they made an Denver made an adjustment at halftime, and it worked out for them. And let's just see what kind of adjustments Portland makes now to counter that adjustment. So but once again, it's one of those three teams: Denver, Portland, and the Lakers that are coming out of the West for me. Luka's looking like Luka Magic, right? So he's not a flop. He's looking really good in his for well, is this actually his first time playing in front of a Dallas crowd though, right?
First time
That's
playing a playoff game in Dallas. Yeah.
so yeah, like that's really cool. I'm happy for him. John Morant is going to be a problem. He looks really good, and I'm kind of happy for Memphis, and hopefully they can build on top of that. But Memphis and Utah, it's kind of a boring game. I was watching the game. It was kind of a boring game, but it was a good block though, Rudy Gobert and John Morant. But other than
Yeah,
that,
that
it
was
was it
cool.
was
That was cool.
it was, it was kind of a boring game to me.
They don't play. No, I can't say they don't play exciting basketball, but yeah, Utah is like the best 3-point percentage shooting team. So like they legit are just gonna shoot threes. And Memphis is a paint team, so it's really a contrast of styles because they scored like 58 points in the paint or something like that, the highest scoring team in the paint. So yeah, definitely in contrast in styles, but we'll see. I don't think Denver's coming out of the West. I think they're too injured.
Denver, oh yeah, with
I
Jamal
think
Murray.
Denver's too injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's that's just my own opinion. Joker is probably MVP. Oh, who's the MVP for you guys? Because we got Jordan Clarkson, sixth man, Julius Randle, most improved player. So we're still missing what? Coach of the year, defensive player. No one cares. Coach of the year and MVP. Who's your guys' MVP? And it's between Joker. Help me out here. Joker,
Embiid,
Steph, and Embiid, right?
and also Luca's in the talks too, right?
No, it's down to 3 for
Okay.
MVP, and it was Steph, Joker, and Embiid.
I think it's definitely between Steph and Joker. It's just that one's a hard choice.
Pick.
Well, I mean, it's weird for me because like MVP to me, like if you were to take this player off that team would suck, right? But I feel like they have
Yes.
different kind of like categories that they check off on, and so I picked Steph Curry because if you were to take Steph Curry off of Golden State, they would not even be in the play-ins scenario. I don't think that team would have any superstar, and that team would literally almost tank for next season. So for him to take that Golden State team to where they were supposed to play in the playoffs, they're actually the 8th seed. I think Steph did his job.
Dre, we know how much you love Steph Curry.
I mean, yeah, dude's pretty incredible. I would have to give it to Joker. He's just too too much of like an all around player that makes it so hard to really, stop his game and stop him from helping others. So yeah, I would give it to him.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I wonder who picked him in their fantasy team. It was Ace. Spoiler alert, it was Ace.
And if I get the chance next season, I'm definitely going to pick him again.
But you won't, because you
Yeah,
won't have a
probably.
top 4 pick, and
Yeah,
Dre's
probably
gonna pick him.
I do want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks and Knicks series. Because I think there's a lot of I don't know how if the media is doing most of it, but just the talking back and forth, especially with Trae Young. Do you think the crowd won that game for game 2? Do you think Atlanta crumbled under that New York crowd? Because it was a packed house.
But before we get into answering that question, Albert, I'm curious. Do you think Trae Young is playing the refs, or is that a legal basketball move?
I honestly have never seen or haven't seen the most recent like Atlanta game, so I don't know how Trae Young plays. But if everyone's complaining how he's playing, it just reminds me of James Harden's game of that step back, that how it's like kind of controversial, but now it's just accepted, and then him doing the pump fakes and just all those like dirty tricks that you do, and I think it's just part of the game now these days. If you can play the refs, you can play the refs, but just know that it's a boring game to watch.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
true.
if it's a game of free throws, yeah, is it bad for the NBA? Well, it just slows down the game, right? But if Trae Young is trying to win the game and he's doing these quote unquote dirty tricks, Steve Nash does it, Chris Paul does it. Point guards are crafty. They push off.
Steve Nash used
Um,
to always use his off arm.
Correct. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think that the play and what they're talking about is when Trae Young kind of dribbles in front of you really fast and just kind of stops and then has the person run into you and that causes that person to kind of foul you. I mean, is it a play on refs? Definitely, sure. He's trying to get the foul, and that's basically what you're trying to do. Anyways, in the game, he just found a way to do it. He's just quicker than you. That means you just have to be quicker than him and make sure he doesn't get in front of you and you run into him. So, um, Trae Young, sure, he quote unquote playing the system, getting the foul. What there's nothing wrong with that because that's the main reason why I hate watching James Harden play because he's a beautiful shot, but once he drives it in, he plays the body to try to get that foul. So I'm like, man, come on, ref, you gotta let them, bump a little bit, but a little bump from James Harden, he'll go flying, and then he'll get the call. So um, no one complains about that from James Harden and calling him a cheat, but you're only going to call Trae Young a cheat once he beats you, and that's what the mayor of New York calls him. So he can kind of like rattle his bones, but very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I hope Trae Young still plays the way he plays. There's nothing wrong. I don't think it's he's cheating the game by the way he plays.
No, I hope he changes, but I just accept it.
I'm afraid he's gonna get hurt because he's gonna do that to someone big, and they're just gonna fall on him because he's not a big dude himself.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
and
what I'm worried about.
going on your thing, Albert's asking if the crowd won it for the Knicks. That's the whole point of having home court advantage is so you can have the crowd behind you, right? So, but the camaraderie
Camaraderie.
that the
Camaraderie.
Knicks, yeah. So that's what I miss for the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers don't have anything cool like that. They have a chant like, and I know it was kind of weird because Utah did a whole thing where they say they're gonna white out the whole stadium and have everyone wear these white T-shirts. And Miami did that white thing too, or that when all
White
the
hot.
yeah, so where they were all there's no like group
cool.
effort from the Lakers that does that. So I'm like, man, I miss that. And they even passed around a chant for the New York fans
Right.
saying Trey is going bald.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
did.
they passed that
What?
around. So whenever he would touch the ball or go at the free throw line, they would just chant, Trey's going bald, Trey's going bald, Trey's going bald. So just the fact that they have that going on for the whole arena I think that's super duper cool, and that's the whole point of getting home court advantage, so you can, get that crowd behind you. So,
Agreed.
Laker fans at the Staples Center, step it up, please.
LA's too it's too Hollywood. Laker fans have always been way too Hollywood. Uh, you know, I think they're more there about trying to get a photo with Michael
Instagram post
and like Drake and stuff, than as opposed to actually enjoying the game. Like, I mean, back when it was like maybe like Magic, Kurt Rhombus days, that's when you see highlights, people like going on the game. Now everyone's there just like looking cool and on their like Instagrams, and
they have their little Jordan 1 sticking out on the court with their glasses. Like, yo, man, I have to step over Travis Scott's shoes in order to shoot this 3-pointer, man. Tell him to scoot his shoes back. Nah, man, he's Travis Scott. He can do whatever he wants, man.
That boy in Houston, Ace.
Yeah.
I don't know, Albert. I don't know if the crowd won it for him, but I think it definitely helped. I thought Derrick Rose had a phenomenal game. The whole game.
D Rose, yeah.
And
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, exactly. And they started him right because like Elfrid Payton and Emmanuel Quickly were kind of playing point guard by committee. But D Rose is obviously the best point guard, at least today, on that roster, playing the best from the three. So I thought he did a really good job, and they finally started hitting threes. Barrett, Bullock,
Obi Toppin looks really good.
He was my pick for rookie of the year. But yeah, they're a well coached team. They're gonna like the old Memphis of a couple years ago with like Zach Randolph and when Conley was there, and then like they're just gonna grind because they're not there yet talent wise, because a lot of those guys are still hella young. So I feel like they have to do it by committee, and they have to do it like grind it out and all that stuff. Because Atlanta on paper, they're better shooters. They're much more offensively talented. So yeah, kudos to the Knicks. That game, I think that series can easily go 7 games because just like you said, like Atlanta's so talented. They could shoot. Trae Young is probably the best player, or at least looking like the best player on the floor at all times. But then Knicks, they're just not gonna quit. There's no quit in their game. It just if they're making shots or not. And Rando finally started hitting.
I'm just so happy that Spike Lee has somebody new to kind of go after. So Trae Young and Spike Lee's little interactions are fun to watch.
Spike Lee was having him a good old time. That boy, that I feel like there's gonna be hella memes of him just like dancing around now.
Well, he's been wanting a Knicks playoff game for how long?
But that's the thing, though. I mean, so because to kind of go back to where we were talking about early on with the fan interaction, we do kind of forget that like Spike Lee, Reggie Miller days, even with like Jordan and stuff, like he's earned it, right? He's allowed to like interact, and so. I wonder. I know there was talk about should fans be able to like heckle at all, like the players? Like, what's like the boundaries? Like, do you remember the woman that James had thrown out? I think was it during the bubble?
Yeah, it was during
crazy stuff. And so I mean, like you don't want the players to get abused, but then on the flip side, how fun is it that like a Spike Lee is able to have that interaction with the players, and it creates this animosity that's like fun, that kind of everyone enjoys it. So I guess you have to kind of find that balance.
I think if it's done tastefully, right? Like
right, yeah, of course.
So, I mean, if they're going like LeBron James, your mom, and so so, like don't that's uncalled for. Let's either have her thrown out or give her a warning. But if they're going like LeBron James, you're missing your shots, like your forehead's missing your hair or something like that, like it's. At least they're making fun of him and whatever. It's a little comedic behind it. It's nothing like, not known. We know that you're quote unquote losing your hair.
Ace, if you ever said that to LeBron, we would never find your body. you would like your existence would be just evaporated. From
basically it's like Thanos, and I just disappear out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, like you've never existed.
Hopefully there's a ball joke in Space Jam too. Hopefully that. We're going to have to talk about that because, I mean, maybe not this episode, like another episode. I mean, hopefully it's going to be good, but the trailers look really weak. I'm curious how the original Space Jam trailers look. Maybe they just didn't show a lot, but it looks real rough. But we'll
I'm
see.
curious about the soundtrack. I know we'll
Oh,
save
yeah.
it for like another, but because like the first Space Jam soundtrack was fire to me.
It was slapping. They had slappers. They had loads of slappers on there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm gonna separate the artist from the art, but I mean, that song, I Believe I Can Fly, right? Like that was a great song for that movie at the time.
Right.
Minus
Hell
what the
yeah.
artist was right, but minus what the artist doing outside, but just the song for the movie, like that was a great ass soundtrack to me. Was it Bring 'Em Out came out in that too, right? In Space Jam,
Oh yeah.
Maybe?
I think so, or they had it on the track, on the soundtrack.
Not the Swiss Beats one, right?
You hit him low, hit him low,
hit him low.
With, yeah, Dre got me.
Because I'm thinking about the other Bring 'Em Out, Bring 'Em Out, Bring 'Em Out. That's a different one, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a different one.
Swiss Beats, don't Bring 'Em Out.
Yeah, so sorry with the movie talk.
Oh, okay.
I mean, well, you guys, I mean, speaking of trailers, you guys watched the Eternals thing, right?
The Eternals.
Your boy
Yes.
Dre, Kit Harington. It was Rob and John, Rob Stark, and Jon Snow are in the Eternals.
Oh wait, oh yeah, they were, huh?
Yeah.
Oh wait.
I mean, no, because I remember like seeing Richard Madsen, right? And then I think a couple scenes frames later, it's Kit Harington.
It's Kit
But since I've
Harington.
been watching so much Game of Thrones, like it didn't even register that it was both of them in this trailer. I thought it was like, oh, we're up at Winterfell. But so yeah, like I guess I missed that. That's cool.
Yeah, and I think one of the later lines of Rob to John was like, "The next time I'll see you, you'll be in all black." And so Kit Harington, spoiler alert, this isn't a spoiler alert. He's playing the character. He's playing the Black Knight. That's his character name. That's like his superhero name for the
Black Knight in the Eternals.
Yeah, so Kit Harington's character is the Black Knight. So it's just kind of funny how it's like Game of Thrones comes full circle with that line. Albert's off screen at the moment, but I know Albert is super hyped for the Eternals, and I would love to hear his take. But Ace, how'd you feel about it?
Well, growing up, not gonna lie to you, when I read the Eternals, because I saw the little Marvel little logo on it. Okay, cool. It's Marvel. Let me read it. I didn't understand it too much, because I was so into like Fantastic Four, X-Men, pretty much the staple Marvel characters are like the highly commercial Marvel characters. So when I read the Eternals, I didn't get it, but it's supposed to be the Celestials making not human beings, but making their own race, right? Which is the Eternals, but they also made a counterpart, which is the Deviants, right? So the trailer, it just looks like just cool. I'm excited for it because I want to see where Marvel Cinematic Universe takes this. But I do have one question. I'll wait till everyone says what they have to say about the trailer. But from the trailer, I didn't get much as far as who they're gonna fight or what's gonna happen, because I remember kind of reading it. I remember there was like a small little civil war between them, and they kind of like. So I don't know what they're gonna portray in the in this movie, but I think it's cool. I'm interested in seeing where they go with it. But I do have a question. I'm gonna wait till everyone says what they have to say, and then I'll ask that question.
Albert?
Yeah, so I never knew anything about the Eternals until the MCU came along and they teased like this a long time ago. But from what I do know is that the Celestials created three races: the Deviants, Humans, and Eternals. And so the Eternals apparently lived within humans for like centuries, apparently. And they only came about whenever there was like a greater cause to fight. And I guess the biggest question for the MCU is why didn't they interfere with Thanos or
That was my question.
or any other bigger threat like the first Avenger movie? I have no idea who any of these characters are, but I'm just excited to see that to see like these characters come together. I'm excited to see Angelina Jolie because I honestly wasn't expecting like any like bigger names to be included in the MCU, but since it is getting bigger and as big as it is, I think it is attracting all these superstars. what I am excited is to find out what Ace said is just what are they going to be fighting. I'm pretty sure it's going to be deviants, but how will they be introduced? How will they be interconnected with the MCU and all that jazz?
Dre?
Oh, me? Yeah, I didn't really.
Oh, me?
Tag in, Dre. Tag in. Gladiator Beast.
Um, I don't know. I didn't get much out of the trailer. It kind of had like, it's all like lovey-dovey, like music. Like the music was all like very hopeful and like I guess it's supposed to give that feeling like, yeah, these are kind of higher beings and they create stuff. And
Angelic.
they're all good and stuff. Yeah, I guess it did have an angelic tone. So yeah, I guess everyone's kind of already said it already. You don't really get a sense of who's the antagonist, like what's the conflict. And so yeah, it didn't do that much for me. It felt like something. It was more inside baseball, like it's for the fans who already know about it, as opposed to a person who doesn't know. And we're going to show you this trailer to get you interested.
Mhm.
So it didn't do that for me, which is fine. Like sometimes, you want to cater towards those who already know, and then you can have more generic stuff later. So I'm still gonna be interested to see it based solely on the fact that like they did so well with like the MCU with the first 20 films.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's they went through what 3 phases, because this is start of phase 4, is that correct?
Yes.
Black Widow will start phase 4.
Yes,
But,
sir.
but like the whole first 20 movies, but the Infinity War saga, is that not called something? Is that not like the first MCU saga? Like
Yeah.
you have
The
to say
Infinity
like,
Saga.
Okay. So yeah, so based off of what they did with the Infinity Saga, I'm like giving them, I'm assuming, these guys, team, ladies, theys, thems, they all know like really well like what they're doing. So see, this is what's coming out from like hiding behind the mic. Everyone involved, they did so well in treat the source material with so much passion that I'm assuming they have such a good strategy and plan. So I'm gonna assume that's gonna be good. It's like a Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, who would have known, first that this would work and work so well, and then now it's like one of the better elements of the Infinity Saga. So gonna still stay interested, look at more things, but from that trailer, I was just kind of like, okay. I got more feels and like energy coming from the Shang-Chi trailer than I did this one. But it could just be the nature of source material, or they want to kind of keep putting out more trailers as time goes on and kind of build up the hype. But yeah,
Is Shang-Chi coming out before Eternals?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna. Yeah, so like we said, Dre, I think they're gonna, for sure put out more trailers.
yeah, more so. But just like if we're just talking on just like based off of this trailer,
Yeah,
I was just kind of like, okay, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be jazzed about, what I'm supposed to expect. So we'll see how it goes.
It's yeah. From what I got from the trailer is like if they're putting like a puzzle together, like, oh, it's that one piece you kind of don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't know what to do with this piece, but it feels like it's going to be a really big piece to the bigger story.
it's
So,
definitely no. It's actually the corner piece, so you know where it goes. But you just have to complete the rest.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, yeah, like Dre said, like they didn't kind of give you a lot to work with unless you're deep into the Marvel universe, and luckily, I kind of read the comics beforehand, and I don't even know the characters' names. But I'm just really, really excited. Yeah, like Dre said, they're not gonna let Marvel flop, and they're definitely gonna do their due diligence. And we may be confused right now, but I'm confident they know what they're doing. The one actress I cannot wait is Miss Hayek. You know what I mean? From Dusk Till Dawn, Desperado.
I don't know. I like Gemma Chan. Honestly, she is
Woo!
the Gemma
Big
Chan.
surprise.
She's Crazy Rich Asians. She was also in Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Because she's kind of the lead in this teaser. So it's a teaser, it's not really a trailer.
Yeah.
That's film jargon. I mean, I'm not anything special. I don't know too much, but I know it's a teaser. It's not
showing your
trailer.
muscles. You're film buff.
Yeah, you tease.
Okay.
So it's a teaser, but yeah, the Eternals are, like you guys just said, they're a huge piece in the Marvel universe that no one really knows how big or how important they really are. And so that's one thing about them. They can connect the movies to mutants. They can connect the movies to the Fantastic Four. They can connect the movies to just so many things, cosmic and non-cosmic. The way that they work, they have two major storylines. I won't say what happens in those storylines, but in those storylines, we do find out why they were away, or like, you know, if you guys are angelic beings, because they are angelic beings, that's why it looks so pretty and everything's so perfect around them, is because they're kind of built like angelic creatures, where deviants are not. Thanos was a hybrid. He was half deviant, half eternal. So
you're telling me a deviant smashed an eternal, and that's the child that they got?
It was the other way around.
The other way around?
Right. So that's basically what happened. But
slumming it with the deviant.
So there's that dynamic. But yeah, in the story, in the comics, the Jack Kirby story, we find out why, like, hey, how come we haven't seen y'all until now? Like, what's the deal? And that's explained. So we'll find out. I'm sure they're gonna explain it. Also,
yeah, that was the question I was gonna ask. Like, yo, man, all this was going down, man, and y'all supposed to be like these badass warriors and whatnot. Where the F was you, man?
But they also talked. I mean, they teased that in the teaser, right? They're saying like, you know, there's been so many threats. Like, why are we coming out now? And like, oh, there's no leader to the Avengers. Like, they're going to address all that, because of course everyone's gonna have those questions. Like, okay, if you're so badass, what's up? Also, another thing that's really hyped about this movie, Nomadland won Best Picture. The director is the director of this movie. Chloe Zhao is the director, and she can put together some.
That's good.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that because it did win Best Picture, but it also came out a lot of memes to Nomadland. I'm just like, who wants to watch a woman travel during, you know, quarantine?
And Nomadland, I'm sorry, it was kind of boring for me. If anyone liked it, I apologize, but it was boring, for sure. But it was a character study, and that's what we want to know. We want to know more about these characters. There can be a lot of villains, honestly. I won't get into spoilers of who I think the villain's going to be, because that's going to explain like why we haven't seen them until now.
Give us one possibility.
Well, one possibility is Celestials, right? Because they were Celestials created. Celestials are basically like scientists, and they went to these different worlds to plant their seed, Dre. If you remember Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Ego wanted to spread his seed across the universe, but that's what Celestials do. They plant their seeds into planets because they need a planet to basically, like, not that they get a planet pregnant, Rick and Morty, not that they get a planet pregnant, but that's where they put their seeds, because that's where all the energy is, so they can grow.
What was the dad's name again? Ego,
Kurt Russell.
And so he was a Celestial?
The MCU made him a Celestial.
So Ego was a Celestial, and
in
Celestials,
the MCU.
Okay. Oh, in the MCU, but he wasn't. No, he wasn't in the comics.
In the comics, he's an elder of the universe.
Ego is, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool.
The living planet. So one villain can be Celestials, obviously, because Celestials will go to a planet, experiment on it, and then leave for hundreds of millions of years or however long they want, and then come back and see what happened with their experiment. And the Celestials are an experiment, and so are the Deviants. They put the Deviants in charge to look over the Celestials, but then the Deviants were like, nah, fuck that. We're just going to, you know, go Vikings on them and rape, pillage, and kill.
And then that's how they got Thanos.
Boom. So that's one thing. But then, so it's possible that there's going to be evil Celestials. There is things called the Host in Marvel Comics, where it's basically like the Marvel heroes versus a Celestial, and Celestials are super, super powerful. So that's like one direction they can go in.
So you're going to tell me Falcon is going up against a Celestial?
Well, that's when the Eternals can get really cosmic, because they'll introduce, because they're strong themselves and they're cosmic. And then you have Captain Marvel, and then you have the Fantastic Four. And then you have X-Men, because the one thing about Celestials that connect them to X-Men is they basically told, well, excuse me, yeah, Celestials basically said in X amount of years, in X amount of years, the human race is going to evolve and or mutate and become the strongest beings ever.
Okay, so Celestials are Eternals. They're not mutants, are they?
No, but humans were the third experiment, like you brought up earlier, which the Eternals were supposed to look over to see if they were going to mutate and or evolve into more perfect creatures, stronger creatures.
So humans, Eternals, and Deviants.
Can you
Right.
draw a family tree?
I can try. I'm sure there's one on Marvel Wiki that I can pull up. But yeah, basically the Deviants look over the Eternals, who look over the humans.
Okay. So
And
the Celestials made the humans.
yes,
So technically
in the image of Eternals.
okay. In the image of Eternals, so in the MCU, Celestials made us.
In Marvel Comics as well, yes.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So if one brother and one sister celestial mate, is that an incestual?
Wow, that was great. Well, so Albert,
Ooh.
they don't. That was freaking great. They don't mate in the comics. Again, they use planets to put the next celestial, and the way that where they get these seeds, and this is how I'm gonna connect Fantastic Four. So I'll say two things. So the way they get the seeds is they get it from the Fulcrum, who is arguably the second strongest character in Marvel because he's kind of the opposite of the one above all. Everyone thought before they introduced the one below all that the Fulcrum was the second most powerful. Now, this is why Fantastic Four will be connected. The Celestial puts their seed into a planet. Who eats planets?
Galactus.
Galactus eats planets because he doesn't want, his purpose of the universe is to make sure that the universe doesn't get overrun by Celestials. There's an infinite amount of planets. That means there's an infinite amount of Celestials. And Galactus is supposed to eat those planets with Celestial seeds before they can produce the next Celestial. And that's how you can bring in a Galactus into the MCU, because there's a seed in the Earth that will become a Celestial unless Galactus eats it, or, the host. So when a Celestial comes out of the planet, it's called a host, or the host rises and then fucks up the whole world.
That's the whole reason why also Galactus created Silver Surfer, so you can check on the Earth's celestial seed.
Galactus needs to travel to the right planets with the right seeds.
Oh, when it's ripe.
So he needs a herald. Silver Surfer's planet was eaten by Galactus, and he didn't want this to happen. Well, actually, no. Let me take that back. His planet was about to be eaten by Galactus, and he said, no. Spare my planet. I'll be your herald, and I'll take you to all the planets that you can eat. And he always takes them to uninhabited planets.
Oh, so if you need a good place to eat, you call Silver Surfer. He knows where all the good places to eat at then.
Silver Surfer is the ultimate foodie.
He's the AKA
Grubhub.
He's the AKA Yelp.
Yeah. He's the ultimate food critic.
And arguably the ultimate savior, right? Because he's trying to make sure that peoples don't get eaten by a giant ball of energy.
So that's where Fantastic Four would be introduced. Okay, interesting.
Well, they're connected. They're connected.
Okay, so you heard it here first, guys. Fantastic Four is going to be introduced because of Celestial, according to John Burkhead.
And Eternals.
According to Burkhead, that's
According to Burkhead,
a soy exclusive.
Yeah, so
Thursday, May 7:16 p.m.
Timestamp.
I'm sure there's hella YouTube theorists out there. You guys know that meme of the dude from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like looking at a board and he's like, and there's like all these lines and shit. You know how everyone thought Mephisto was gonna come out in WandaVision. I'm sure there's people like connecting every little thing to like, oh, and this is that, and this is that, and at that point, I'm just like, yo, just watch the movie and enjoy yourself, bro.
Also, I found out Namor is not even part of the MCU, like contractually. Do you know where Namor belongs to, or who
I thought he was in Africa, on the coast of Africa.
Earthquake under the coast. Namor is owned by MCU.
You sure?
They have Namor. They have Namor.
All right.
They have Namor.
All right, here we go. Pull it up, guys. Both of you guys got to pull it up. Who's right?
But he currently plays for PSG, right?
Oh my God. That's Neymar.
Oh.
No, honestly, Albert, I think Sony had Namor.
Okay.
I think it would, who owned the Fantastic Four before? It was
Fox.
Sony, right?
It was
Fox.
Fox.
Fox. Oh, it was Fox. It was
Yeah,
Fox.
Fox.
I apologize. Sorry, Sony. Sony just has Spider-Man. Where's my head at? And Universal has the whole.
Where's your head at? Where's your head at?
Yeah, but since when Marvel bought Fox, they got Namor back because he's a Fantastic Four property.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Fantastic Four property.
Nice.
Circle takes the square.
Okay. I'm glad. Oh, damn. That big, Glizzy?
Oh
geez.
no. Oh
Hopefully that's the
no.
thumbnail.
No. All right. X takes the square. X.
There you go. Wakanda forever.
Okay, Wakanda forever. Save
Or
them.
Deadpool. Just kidding. Wakanda forever, guys. Don't yell at me. But before we switch topics, Dre, Ace brought up you know you're getting married soon, and Albert asked me a pretty funny question, or good question rather. It wasn't that funny. No, it was pretty funny. All right. Apparently, there's a show. It's called 50K Marriage or Mortgage, right, Albert?
Yeah.
So can you explain what the show is?
I honestly heard this from a different podcast. Sorry. But apparently there's
Fuck
a
them.
show
Just kidding.
where a couple has to choose to receive 50K to spend on a down payment or on a like a wedding, basically. And I guess I was just curious on what, since getting married, I want to know what you would choose. I would also want to know what other people would choose.
Oh, I mean, well, I think like some weddings can cost more than that. So, like I assume like it's just they get it to go towards the wedding, or they have to do a wedding with only 50K.
I would assume
I
towards.
think it goes towards it.
Yeah.
I mean, so far what my experience with the planning and stuff is happy wife, happy life, right? So
Happy spouse, happy house.
there you go. So I think
Do what she says.
yeah, if your lady is really looking forward to like a dream wedding, you got to go with that, and then you can make your ends, work on a house afterwards.
Got it. So the PC answer. Got it.
I think Ace is probably the closest to getting married after Andre. So Ace, what would you pick?
Luckily the girlie and I talked about it. Shout out to Anna, by the way.
Hi Anna.
She's not here. She's at school, but
Bye Anna.
luckily we want more of an intimate wedding, and so just as long as our friends and loved ones are there, we would enjoy that, and we would probably put it towards a house.
Show me house. Oh,
you know what I mean? So one, we're gonna get married. So that's that's overall at the end of the day we're gonna get married, right? And then two is just as long as our friends and family are there, we would be happy. And yeah, so I mean a $50,000 wedding towards the wedding would be nice, but we would definitely take it for the mortgage.
Knox, my bad. I think you were gonna say something.
Oh no.
He was gonna say, idiot.
He's gonna say Ace had the PC answer. What about you, Albeezy?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I never had this discussion, honestly, but yet. But I think she would want to go for the mortgage, honestly. But apparently everyone on the show, like 90% of the time, chooses the marriage, which was surprising. Yeah. I guess.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe because that's more fun, right? Like, oh, here, hey couple, here's money. Oh, well, let's put it toward the wedding and then show off the wedding.
Probably.
I would assume. I definitely would put it toward a house.
Okay. Congratulations, Miss Burkhead.
The question is like, would your lady feel the same way? Like
when I find her, we'll find out.
Yeah. What if your lady wants a big wedding and then you have to choose, start some fights or something?
Yeah.
What if she's a celestial and has had many husbands before?
Celestials don't get married, Albert.
Oh.
weirdo. I don't even know if they're the ultimate progressive being, Dre. I don't even think they have genders.
Mm.
But wait, in that one trailer or teaser, wasn't there like a celestial couple?
You mean Eternal?
Oh, okay, Eternals. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. Eternals definitely Marvin Gaye and Get It On, right? But
Ooh.
but yeah, and I think the teaser kind of insinuated a love triangle between a few of them.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
that would be the antagonist that kind of creates a person to turn on their group since the lover chose the other lover, and then
How pissed would you be if it was just a romantic like tragedy type thing and no action because of the Nomadland director?
I'm sure there'll be action. I'm sure there'll be action.
well, Russell Westbrook better not be in there because I'm definitely gonna be throwing some popcorn, pissed off.
Too soon.
Yikes.
Too soon. But yeah, that's a great question, Dre. I guess yeah, PC answer is always like, the misses will decide. But speaking logically and single, I definitely would put it toward the house. But that's also me being selfish. So it takes two to tango. Is that the phrase? Is that what Adam Sandler says in Billy Madison? Exactly.
No, I think this is something like want to touch the hiney. That's what it's about.
as he hits on Sonya Blade. That's true. But yeah, before we get into something else, I just want to say that we probably should cut it off here. The Lakers are playing.
Actually, before we go, I just want to send a quick shout out. Happy birthday to my little bro. His birthday is this weekend. Shout out to Albert. Happy birthday, bro. Just want to say what's up. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.
With your old ass.
Yeah, man.
Get in there.
Old sexy ass out.
He makes 29 look good though.
Man, I wanted to go ball with you guys this Sunday, but I did a shoot around recently and like my left knee, I can't like jab step or anything. Like it's that bad.
Yo, left knee is below knee.
Wow. Albert, you want to open up a haunted house?
What does that have to do with anything?
I was just wondering if you wanted to open up a haunted
What does
house.
that have to do with anything?
Sure, man. Why not?
Hell yeah, business is booming. Boo.
Yeah. On that note, thanks for joining.
Yeah, I guess it is
Thanks
time
for
to
joining
focus
us.
Come on.
Clearly, John has lost his marbles.
100%.
I could tell you another ghost story.
Sure.
Joke.
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a 29-year-old mind over there.
Try
John.
again, Albert.
you guys want to hear a ghost joke?
Always.
That's the spirit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Once again, guys, apologize for that. On that note,
We will
from the
see
boys
you
of
on the next
Soycast, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.